Hello everyone, this is Julie with Craft with Julie, and it is the second Friday of the month, which means it is time for another YouTube sketch collaboration. This month we are going to be using this sketch right here. It looks like it's 8.5 by 11, but I'm going to do a 12 by 12, and I love the triangles. I think that's so fun, and the little hearts and clusters and all the goodness. So I think this is going to be a really good sketch to work with. I pulled out, actually was going through my photos to find like a Father's Day photo, but I came across this one, and I love this photo so much of my husband. A couple of years ago at Christmas, my son gave him this hat. My daughter had the little mistletoe headband, and he was just being silly on Christmas morning, and I'm like, I have to document this photo. He hates it, so hopefully he's not watching this channel and now knows that all of you have seen this photo. I don't think he watches my videos. So with the theme of his hat, I pulled out this packet of paper, and I have never used it. It is called Timeless Plaid. I've just always loved the I'll just flip through. So many fun patterns. I've seen a lot of fun projects done with this, and I purchased it but have not used it, and I think this will be perfect for this photo. I also pulled out this piece. Is from the Weekend Adventure, kind of goes along with this same theme of this photo. And then I did grab some of these ephemera. This is actually from the Time for Celebration ephemera pack, so it's got some of the Christmas themes in there, some fun like hearts and things like that, and I think that will work really well to add some fun things around this photo. So let's go ahead and get started and see where this goes. The first thing I want to do is go through the Timeless Plaid paper packet and pull out the ones I think will match the theme and maybe the colors in what my husband's wearing. He does have a blue shirt on, so I do pull out some of the blues, and then I'm lining it up, kind of checking it out to see what it might look like, and just really mixing and matching and trying to decide what patterns to use. I do decide not to use the blue because I want it to be more of a Christmas theme, so I do pull the blues out and go with more of the natural hues like the basic beige and the mossy meadow green color. And then I'm just going to cut this paper down to 6 by 6 like the paper packet is, and then start lining these up. This tan one makes me laugh because my husband has a shirt that matches that plaid paper like exactly. It's been in his closet for years, and so I kind of had to giggle when I cut that one, just because I'm like, I could totally use this for another page and make him wear that shirt. The next thing I need to decide on are the base pages, and I didn't want to go with white. I'm trying to branch out from using white on every layout, and so I pulled out Crumb Cake and also Basic Beige, and I have to say Basic Beige is becoming one of my most favorite colors. I've been using it a lot lately, and I decide I want to use both of them together, and then use a Crumb Cake as a border in the background, and then I'll cut down the Basic Beige just like a 1/2 inch off two of the sides, and that should make a really nice border around the outside of the page. I am going to save some paper here and gut out the Crumb Cake, and I do that by just putting my trimmer right at the 1 inch, cutting up to 11 inches, and then turning it and doing the same on all 4 sides. This helps with the bulk of the page, so it doesn't make my album too big, and also I can use that center piece of the Crumb Cake for another project. I'm going to put a little bit of glue all the way around the framed piece and then add that Basic Beige, and then I'm going to bring in the triangles and kind of just lay those out to see what order I want to put them in. So like I said, I did choose the green, which is kind of a mossy meadow, and then the kind of the gray and brown, which is like a basic beige, and I can't remember the gray color, and then the red from the Weekend Adventure paper packet. I will put a supply list in the description of the video so you can check out all the different supplies I've used on this page. But as I'm putting them on, I just noticed that these triangles kind of look like handkerchiefs or neckerchiefs, I guess is the word, and it would make a really fun maybe country farm type layout, just using the same concept. So that's another idea. I am kind of a lazy scrapbooker, crafter, and I am not measuring where I'm putting the triangles. I'm kind of just eyeballing it and hoping that it all turns out okay. I'm not pushing down on these, even though they have adhesive on the back. So if I need to move them a little bit, I can, and just kind of see how it all looks when it's all laid down. Honestly, I just don't like doing math, and so I figured if I just eyeball it, it will turn out just fine. Plus, I'm going to be putting some things on top of these triangles, so I don't think anybody's going to really notice if they're not exactly the same distance apart. But I think I did pretty good. I'm going to push those down, and then I decide that I want a little bit of white around that photo. So I cut about a 1/4 inch off the top and the side of the photo, and then I'm going to mat it on a photo placeholder that I have left over from a scrapbooking workshop. I like to keep those on hand. They make a really nice photo mat, and they're thinner than regular cardstock, so it doesn't add too much bulk. And then I'm going to mat it again on black cardstock. So this one is 4 1/4 by 6 1/4, and I think that will really help this picture pop off the page. The sketch has a spot for a really nice large title, and so I grabbed the a la mode dies. This is one of my most favorite die sets from Stampin'Up to use for a title. It's just nice and thin and tall, and I just really like how it looks on a layout. So I did cut this in Cajun Craze, and I decided after looking at it for a minute, the reds just don't quite match with the other elements, and so I do change that in the end. But I'm going to go ahead and grab the ephemera and kind of just play around with placement and decide which ones I want to use and kind of get an idea of where the accents are going to go. These images are from the Time for Celebration ephemera pack. As you can see on the right hand side, they come in a sheet. You get 2 of each sheet of images in a package, and they are like a chipboard weight to them, so they're very sturdy, and they also have adhesive on the back, and you peel off the backing and it's sticky. So it's kind of a fun little accent to have on hand that you can add to your scrapbook pages and also cards. As much as I love all those little images, I needed something more to fill out my page, and so I cut some greenery from the Golden Greenery dies using Garden Green cardstock. I used a 2-tone cardstock, and so I cut some on the light side and then some on the dark side, and I just mixed them in together to give more dimension to that little section of greenery on my page. So the sketch shows a tag element above the photo. So I cut one out using a close to my heart thin cut. I added a piece of white cardstock to the front and then my own journaling lines so I can tell the fun story about this photo. My husband wore this hat all morning while we were making our traditional Christmas morning breakfast of omelets and hash browns and cinnamon rolls. And I chose the title Redneck because this photo totally reminds me of the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Does it not? It totally screams that movie to me. I knew I wanted to put Christmas underneath the redneck, and I dug deep into my stash and I found this stamp set in thin cut from Close to My Heart, and I lucked out and there was already one stamped in the exact color I needed and ready to go. I love when that happens. So I think I'm almost done. I want to just double check and make sure there's nothing else I want to add to these pages. I keep my stickers from past projects because you never know what fun little element you can add to your current project. I grabbed this one, this little tag, because it has a black on the top, so we'll go with my photo mat and also the plaid that I used. And then this little speech bubble is plaid as well, and I can add that into that little element up there above my photo. I found this little mustache in the ephemera and I had to use it because it totally goes with this theme of the page, and you can see how easy it is to just peel off that back and stick it to your project. And then the last thing I'm going to do is add some Stickles glitter gel. I've had this in my stash. I love it, especially for Christmas time. It has a little bit of glitter in there, and I'm going to add it to the greenery, and then also some of those ephemera pieces right over the holly to make those stand out a little bit more. If you enjoyed this video, I would love a thumbs up, maybe leave me a nice comment, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos. Remember, this is a collaboration, so go check out what other gals created. I've put their links to their channels in the description of the video, along with a list of all the supplies I use. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.